From the static-filled corners of the internet, you're listening to Redacted Frequencies. I'm Cipher.
And I'm Echo. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on something you probably see every single day. Something that promises to make you happier, healthier, wealthier, better.
The self-help industry. But don't mistake this for a feel-good chat. We're talking about a global enterprise worth, by some estimates, over $13 billion a year.
13 billion. That's just a staggering number. And it's all built on this seemingly positive idea of self-improvement. But the question we're asking today is, what if the goal isn't actually to help you?
What if the goal is to make you a permanent customer, to convince you, subtly, constantly, that you're fundamentally broken?
Yes, that's the word, broken. You scroll through social media and it's everywhere. 10 habits of successful people, why you're still single, the one mindset shift that will change everything. It's this constant hum of inadequacy.
It's not just a product, it's become a cultural demand. The New Yorker called it improving ourselves to death. This idea that if you're not actively optimizing every second of your life, your sleep, your diet, your relationships, you're failing.
And that feeling of failure, that's the product. It's what they sell you the cure for. You feel guilty for not journaling or for hitting the snooze button. And then, what do you know? Here comes an ad for a $500 planner or a productivity course.
A course that recycles the same 5 ideas we've been hearing for 70 years, just with a new coat of paint and a charismatic guru on a stage with a headset mic. It's a perfect loop. Create the problem, sell the solution, and ensure the solution is just temporary enough that you have to come back for more.
It feels so predatory because it completely ignores any real-world structural problems. Like it never says maybe you're struggling because wages are stagnant and the cost of living is insane. Instead, it's you're not struggling because of the economy, you're struggling because you have a scarcity mindset. Buy my book on developing an abundance mentality. It puts all the blame and all the burden squarely on the individual. But it's so seductive, isn't it? That's the trap. The idea that you have total control, that you can manifest your perfect life if you just think positively enough. It's a powerful fantasy.
It's a fantasy built on a foundation of sand. We looked into some of the psychology behind it, and it gets wild. There are actual academic studies showing that for people who already have low self-esteem, forcing themselves to repeat positive affirmations can actually make them feel significantly worse.
Wait, really? That feels like the ultimate contradiction. The one tool everyone pushes is the one that can backfire the most.
It creates what psychologists call a self-discrepancy. It just widens the gap between the reality you're living and the impossible standard you're holding yourself to. That gap, that's the industry's real estate. That's where they build their mansions.
Wow. And you mentioned this has been going on for a long time. It's not just an internet thing.
Oh, not at all. The blueprint was written nearly a century ago by a man who might be the greatest self-help scammer of all time. We'll be digging up the very questionable history of Napoleon Hill and his book, Think and Grow Rich, later in the show.
I can't wait for that. So, where do we start with the modern gurus, the ones filling up stadiums today?
We start by examining the techniques, the language, the financial demands, the promises, and how shockingly close they get to the official definition of a high control group, or as most people call it, a cult. I mentioned a name, Napoleon Hill. To his followers, he's a titan of industry, a mentor to presidents, the man who unlocked the secrets of success. But the historical record, the actual verifiable facts, tell a story that's not just different, but is in fact a masterclass in deception that built the very foundation of the modern self-help industry. We have to start with the origin story, the one everyone knows, his incredible mentorship with Andrew Carnegie.
That's the bedrock of the entire Hill empire, and it's the first and biggest lie. The legend is that in 1908, a young Hill interviewed the steel magnate Andrew Carnegie, who was so taken with him that he secretly commissioned him to spend the next 20 years interviewing the world's most successful people to create a philosophy of success.
It's the ultimate chosen one narrative. It gives him all this credibility. So you're saying it didn't happen?
I'm saying there is zero credible evidence it ever happened. According to reporting by Gizmodo, which dug deep into his history, Carnegie's official biographers have searched his archives, his meticulous daily schedules, his letters, his papers. Napoleon Hill is nowhere to be found. The consensus among historians is that they never met.
That's staggering. So the entire foundation of Think and Grow Rich, the secret formula handed down from the world's richest man, is a complete fantasy.
A brilliant piece of marketing he invented years later to sell his books. And if you look at what Hill was actually doing during the 20 years he was supposedly hobnobbing with Henry Ford and Thomas Edison, a very different picture emerges. He wasn't being mentored, he was running cons.
Cons? What kind of cons?
Let's start around 1908, the year he supposedly met Carnegie. He was actually forced to flee Alabama with warrants out for his arrest for check fraud connected to his lumber company. He just vanished.
Okay, so not a great start. Where did he go?
He resurfaced in Washington, D.C. and founded the Automobile College of Washington. He claimed he would train students to become mechanics and chauffeurs, then place them in high-paying jobs. He collected their tuition money in advance and used it to live a life of luxury.
Let me guess, the jobs never materialized.
Of course not. The newspapers of the time called him the slickest schemer that ever came to town. When prosecutors started closing in, he once again fled in the middle of the night, leaving his students and investors with nothing.
This is unbelievable. This is the man who wrote the book on integrity and having a definiteness of purpose. His purpose seems to have been defrauding people and skipping town.
And it didn't stop there. He went to Chicago, started a candy business, and was investigated by state authorities for fraudulently trying to sell stock in it. He even founded a fake philanthropic foundation, the Intra-Wall Institute, promising to reform prisoners with his success philosophy, and was promptly accused of misappropriating its funds.
It's a recurring pattern. He creates a grand-sounding institution, collects money up front with huge promises, and then disappears when it's time to deliver. So this philosophy of success was just the branding for his next scam.
Precisely. The man's life wasn't a testament to his teachings, it was a decades-long crime spree. The only philosophy he truly mastered was the art of the con. He just finally found his most profitable mark, the desperate hopes of the American public.
So Hill didn't just write the book on self-help, he wrote the playbook for the con itself, and you're saying that same playbook is being used right now by people we see on our Instagram feeds every day.
It's the same script with better graphic design. Think about the pattern. First, the fabricated origin story, like Hill's meeting with Carnegie. Today's gurus have their rags to riches tale, the one secret they discovered that changed everything. It establishes them as a chosen one, someone who has knowledge you don't. And that origin story is crucial because it's not just about credibility, it's about creating a modern myth. They are borrowing the structure of the hero's journey. The guru is the hero who has ventured into the wilderness of poverty or despair, slain the dragon of limiting beliefs, and returned with a magical elixir, the secret, which they are now generously offering to you for a price. It's an incredibly powerful narrative that taps into our deepest desires for transformation and meaning.
The one simple trick. They were broke, living in their car, and then they discovered the quantum manifestation vortex or whatever, and now they're a millionaire teaching you how to do it too.
Exactly. Then comes the core product, which is full of vague platitudes disguised as profound wisdom. Your energy creates your reality. What you can conceive, you can achieve. It's unfalsifiable. And just like we discussed, when it doesn't work, it's your fault. You didn't believe hard enough.
So that's the book or the introductory online course, but it rarely stops there. does it? That's where it gets darker. That's the entry point to the funnel.
That's the top of the pyramid. This is where the scam evolves from just selling books to creating high-control groups. This is where we get into the territory of self-help cults. It's a term researchers use for groups that use the language of personal development to mask coercive control.
Okay, so what are the red flags? How does a weekend seminar turn into something that ruins people's lives?
The first and biggest sign is an infallible, charismatic leader. The guru's word is law. Any questioning of their methods or their story is seen as a sign of your own negativity or your limiting beliefs. You're not allowed to challenge the teacher.
Right, because they have the secret and you don't. If you disagree, you're just proving you're not ready for success.
Then comes the isolation. They'll tell you that your skeptical friends, your worried family members, they're energy vampires. They're haters who are jealous of your growth and are holding you back. The group becomes your new family, the only people who get it.
I've seen that language online. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, so you need to be in our room. It's a sales pitch for a community, but it's also a tactic to cut you off from your support system.
It's classic cult indoctrination. They create an us versus them bubble. Inside the bubble, everyone speaks the same jargon, shares the same manufactured reality. Outside, it's a world of unenlightened people who are destined to be poor and unhappy. This reinforces the followers' feeling of being special, of being part of an elite group.
And that special feeling comes with a very high price tag, I'm guessing.
That's the next warning sign. Extreme financial exploitation through escalating commitment. The free webinar leads to the $500 course. At the end of the course, they pitch you on the $5,000 live event. At the live event, using intense emotional pressure, they sell you a spot in the $25,000 inner circle mastermind. It never ends. There's always another level of enlightenment to buy. People go into massive debt chasing a promise that's always just one more purchase away.
It's a perfect trap. The more you invest, financially and emotionally, the harder it is to admit it might be a scam. You're pot committed. Your identity gets tied up in the group. To leave would be to admit you were wrong, you were fooled, and you wasted all that time and money.
And that is the modern version of Napoleon Hill's playbook. He sold a dream in a book. Now they sell it in tiered membership packages. It's the same con, just supercharged by the internet and social media, targeting our deepest insecurities on a global scale.
So where does it lead? What happens when these groups face criticism or when their promises inevitably fail to materialize?
That's when things get truly dangerous. Let's start with a classic archetype we see all the time, the abundance alchemist. This is the guru who claims to have unlocked ancient secrets to wealth and prosperity, usually blending spiritual language with hard-nosed capitalism.
The abundance alchemist. I think I know the type. They're all over my feed, standing in front of a rented Lamborghini, telling me I can have one too if I just align my chakras with the frequency of wealth.
Precisely. The rented luxury is a key part of the illusion. It's what marketing experts call aspirational branding. They aren't selling a product, they're selling a fantasy version of your life. The message is, I have this, and you can too, if you follow my system. The system is always a mix of repackaged, common-sense financial advice, which you could get for free at a library, and a heavy dose of magical thinking.
Like the law of attraction, but with a price tag. They tell you that any doubt or skepticism on your part is a scarcity mindset that is actively blocking wealth from flowing to you. It's a brilliant defense mechanism against any critical inquiry. It's the ultimate thought-terminating cliché. And that's where we move from deceptive marketing to actual measurable psychological harm. The tools they sell you, like positive affirmations, aren't just ineffective. For many people, they're actively damaging.
Wait, damaging? How? I am successful, I am worthy. That seems harmless enough. It's on mugs, it's on posters. How can telling yourself something positive be a bad thing?
Because it can create a massive internal conflict. Researcher Joanne Wood and her colleagues published a study on this. They found that for individuals with low self-esteem, repeating positive self-statements actually made them feel worse.
Worse? How is that possible?
Because if your deep-seated core belief is "I am a failure," and you force yourself to say "I am a roaring success," your mind doesn't just accept the new statement, it actively rebels. It brings up all the evidence to the contrary. So the affirmation ends up just highlighting the huge gap between where you are and where the guru tells you you should be.
And that reinforces the feeling of being broken that we talked about. This simple trick works for everyone else, so why isn't it working for me? There must be something fundamentally wrong with me.
Exactly. The product is designed to fail in a way that makes you blame yourself, which makes you a perfect customer for the next, more expensive product. But the damage goes beyond the individual. This ideology has a massive social impact.
This is the part that really gets me. The idea that this isn't just happening in a vacuum.
It's a huge distraction machine. As a society, we face enormous systemic problems: economic inequality, a mental health crisis, climate change. These are complex issues that require collective action and political change.
But the gurus tell you your anxiety isn't from an insecure gig economy, it's because you didn't buy their meditation app. Your burnout isn't from a toxic work culture, it's because you haven't optimized your morning routine.
Precisely. It privatizes public pain. It takes righteous anger at a broken system and redirects it inward, turning it into shame and self-blame. It tells you the solution isn't to organize, to vote, to protest. It's to buy a journal and manifest a better reality.
It's a political anesthetic. It keeps people focused on tweaking their own internal state instead of challenging the external forces that are actually causing their suffering. It's hard to fight for systemic change when you've been convinced the whole universe revolves around your personal vibration.
It's the perfect ideology for our current era. It suggests that every social problem can be solved with a personal purchasing decision. And it creates a population so focused on self-optimization that they have no energy left to question the system that demands they be optimal in the first place.
So it's not just that the cure they're selling is fake, it's that it actively prevents people from seeking a real one. It's a conspiracy, not just against your wallet, but against the very idea of collective progress.
And this is where the archetypes get even more dangerous. Because after the abundance alchemist convinces you that reality is subjective, the next guru can convince you of anything. Let's talk about the biohacker prophet.
Oh, the ones who treat wellness like a competitive sport and a moral imperative.
The very same. They move beyond manifesting wealth into manipulating your very biology with unproven, expensive, and often dangerous protocols. They sell you the idea that you can bioengineer your way to immortality. But what they're really selling is a new form of health anxiety and a deep distrust of actual science.
And they use the same tactics. The doctors hate this one weird trick approach. It creates an in-group of people with secret knowledge and an out-group of the ignorant masses, which includes, actual medical professionals.
This is where the real-world harm becomes undeniable. People delaying medical treatment, replacing proven therapies with expensive supplements, adopting extreme diets based on zero scientific evidence. The conspiracy here isn't just about feeling broken, it's about breaking your trust in the systems designed to keep you safe and healthy.
So it starts with your mindset, moves to your bank account, and ends with your physical health. It's a total colonization of the self. So what happens when these biohacking promises fail? You can't just manifest away a serious illness.
Then the blame game gets even more vicious. You must have done the protocol wrong. Or worse, your subconscious mind wanted to be sick. It's a completely closed loop. But this brings us to the final, darkest evolution of the self-help guru, the crisis catalyst.
That sounds ominous. What's a crisis catalyst?
This is the guru who thrives on chaos. They move past individual transformation and into group transformation, often by manufacturing a crisis. They'll tell you the world is ending, society is collapsing, and only they and their chosen followers have the key to survival or ascension.
The stakes are no longer just happiness or wealth, but life and death.
And that's where we get into James Arthur Ray and the Sweat Lodge tragedy, where the pursuit of breakthroughs led to people dying.
Exactly. He was a crisis catalyst. He pushed people to their absolute physical and emotional limits under the guise of spiritual growth, creating a high-stakes environment where questioning him was a sign of weakness. And the consequences were fatal. The self-help journey that started with a positive affirmation on a coffee mug ended in a morgue.
It's the ultimate conclusion of this whole ideology. If you are solely responsible for your reality, then you're also solely responsible for your own survival, even in a situation an expert has deliberately made dangerous.
And that is the final lie, that you are alone, that your salvation is something you must purchase, and your failures are entirely your own. The truth is, the most powerful self-help has always been collective. It's community, it's solidarity, it's changing the world together, not optimizing yourself in isolation.
So, the ultimate conspiracy of the self-help industry isn't just that it's selling you a lie. It's that it's trying to make you forget the truth, that we're more powerful together than we could ever be alone. It actively works to dismantle the very idea of collective action.
And that's the real sleight of hand. They take a genuine human need, the need for connection, for purpose, for a better world, and they channel it into a dead end. They've built a multi-billion-dollar industry on the atomization of society. Think about it. Every product, every course, every seminar is designed for the individual. Your best life now, not our best society now. It's a subtle but profound shift in focus. So after all this, after peeling back the layers on this multi-billion-dollar industry, it would be easy to feel cynical, maybe even a little hopeless. We've talked about the manipulation, the empty promises, the financial and emotional toll. It paints a grim picture. But here's the most crucial point we want to leave you with. The desire to improve yourself, to seek meaning, to want a better life is not the problem. That impulse is healthy, powerful, and deeply human. It's the engine of progress, both personal and societal. The danger isn't in wanting to grow. It's in who you trust to guide you on that journey. The modern self-help landscape is a minefield, and navigating it requires a new kind of literacy, a literacy of intent. We need to become conscious consumers of the ideas we let into our lives. That impulse to be better is precisely what makes us vulnerable. It's a sacred, powerful drive, and when someone co-opts it for profit, the violation runs deep. They take our best intentions and weaponize them against us. That's why this isn't just a financial issue, it's a profound, spiritual, and psychological one. This isn't just about avoiding scams, it's about reclaiming your personal journey of growth and building a life of meaning on a foundation of reality, not fantasy.
Exactly. The industry we've been dissecting preys on that beautiful human impulse. It doesn't sell improvement. It sells a productized version of it. Real growth is often slow, challenging, messy, and deeply personal. It's not a one-size-fits-all weekend seminar or a $1,000 mastermind that promises to solve all your problems by next Tuesday. It's the opposite of a quick fix. Think of it like this. Real growth is like learning to play a musical instrument. It requires daily practice, patience, hitting wrong notes, frustration, and the slow, incremental development of skill over years. The self-help industry, in contrast, tries to sell you a magic button that makes you a virtuoso overnight. They sell the feeling of progress, the illusion of transformation, without the substance. They create a dependency where the only way to maintain that feeling is to keep buying the next product, the next seminar, the next level of enlightenment. It's a hamster wheel disguised as a ladder, and it's designed to keep you running and paying indefinitely.
The core product isn't change. It's the hope of change, sold back to you over and over.
So what does a healthier path look like? What's the alternative? It starts by shifting your focus from seeking secrets to seeking genuine support. The most direct route is often through licensed, regulated professionals. Therapists, counselors, psychologists, these are individuals trained in evidence-based methods who are ethically bound to prioritize your well-being, not their sales funnel. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength to seek professional guidance.
And that support system extends beyond the clinical. There is immense power in genuine community. I'm not talking about a paid-for tribe built around a personality of a guru, but real-world reciprocal connections. Join a local sports league, a book club, a hiking group. Volunteer for a cause you are passionate about. These activities build resilience, foster a sense of belonging, and ground you in reality. Benefits that no online course can ever truly replicate.
And let's talk about action versus abstraction. The self-help cults often push this idea of manifestation, of visualizing your goals until they magically appear. The healthier alternative is to focus on concrete, tangible actions. Instead of spending an hour visualizing wealth, spend that hour on a free online platform learning a marketable skill. Instead of chanting affirmations for confidence, join a local Toastmasters club and practice the actual skill of public speaking. Small, consistent, real-world steps are what build momentum and create lasting change.
This brings us to the practical tools for self-defense. You have to learn to spot the red flags to become an educated consumer of ideas. The first and biggest one, be deeply skeptical of anyone promising fast, easy, or guaranteed results. Life is complex. Personal change is hard work. Anyone selling you a simple, painless solution to a complex human problem is, at best, misguided, and at worst, a charlatan.
Second, pay close attention to the language they use, especially us versus them rhetoric. If a leader constantly talks about the haters, the skeptics, the sheep, or the unenlightened masses, they're building an ideological fortress. It's a classic cult tactic designed to discourage critical thinking, foster a sense of specialness in the group, and isolate you from the valid concerns of friends and family.
And finally, the most obvious one, which we've touched on, high-pressure sales tactics. Manufactured scarcity. Only 3 spots left. Manufactured urgency. This price disappears forever in 10 minutes. These tactics are not used by people who are confident in the value of what they offer. They are psychological tricks designed to create a state of emotional panic to override your rational mind and secure your money before you have a chance to think it through.
Ultimately, true empowerment isn't a commodity you can purchase. It isn't a secret you can unlock for 3 easy payments of $99.95. It's the slow, steady process of building self-awareness, trusting your own judgment, asking difficult questions, and forging authentic connections with other people. The real secret is that there is no secret.
The greatest sleight of hand performed by this industry was convincing you that the key to your own mind was locked in a vault and that only they had the combination. The truth is, the door was never locked. You were holding the key all along.
And that's our show for this week. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
If you're listening on a platform like YouTube, we'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like and subscribe buttons. It really helps us cut through the noise and get this information out to more people.
Join us next time when we pull back the curtain on a different kind of manipulation. Our next episode is titled The Psychological Tricks Casinos Use to Keep You Addicted.
Until then, I'm Echo.
And I'm Cipher. Remember, question everything.